All right, so our gold ore is going up, but it is going up by too many, right? So it's like touch, 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 touch. So we don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and fix that. And another issue that I noticed in the last time I played this game is that this starter pack has a script that controls the sun. And I believe like every 3 minutes or 4 minutes or so, it turns from daytime to nighttime, and then it turns from nighttime to daytime. I don't like that, right? So I'm going to get rid of it. You can get rid of it too if you like. And the way you're going to do that is you can come down here to server script service and click the little arrow, and then day night script. I can right click it and I could delete it. Okay. All right. So then I'm going to go ahead and work on my gold script, right? So here's my gold ore, and I'm gonna go ahead and type in here gold script, okay, just so I know when I'm over here coding it doesn't say script script script. I don't know what this is, right? I know it's a gold script. What is this guy? That's a part script. That's this one. I'm gonna delete him eventually, so we don't need to rename him like part script, right? So let's come back here to gold script, and in Roblox they use what is called a debounce variable. Okay, so that on the touch it only happens once. Okay, so how does that work? We'll come over here to local, and we'll say local debounce equals to true, and then in here if it touches, then we add the debounce variable to the if statement. So we say if debounce and player. Okay, what does this mean? This means if debounce is equal to true and there's something in the player, right, that this actually worked, then do this. All right, and then right away we're going to set debounce equal to false. Okay, so the player comes, so when the game first starts, this script runs. Okay, it does this, creates the debounce variable, sets it equal to true, and then it runs the listening event, this gold if it's touched. So it's always listening to see if the gold's touched. And then when the player does touch the gold, then it connects and it fires off, and it does this code. It gets the player, puts it in here. If debounce, that is true, right? Because when we first started the game, debounce is equal to true. And there is a player because the player is the one who touched the gold ore. So both of these are true and true. Okay, so since they're both true, we can come in and execute the body of this if statement here. And immediately debounce is set equal to false. Gold goes up by 1. And then it finishes. And then let's say the player touches the gold ore again, right? Well, debounce now is equal to false. So the player comes in, touches it again, gets the player. Okay, player's here. If debounce, well, debounce is false, right? Because it was set to false that last time that he touched it. And then there's a player. All right, so, well, it doesn't even get here, right? Because and means if this is true and that is true, then do this. If it was or, it means if that's true or that's true, then do this. But we're using and. So if that's true and that's true, then do this. Since this is false, this whole thing is false, it does not do this. Right? So it only does it once. Let's go ahead and test it, see if it works. All right, and I believe my gold ore is on the other side of the train tracks. So dive right in. My gold ore up here should be increasing by 1. And it does. See that? So it only fires off on the first time that the player touches the gold ore. So there we go, right? And now we want to add some additional functionality like making him disappear and playing a sound. Okay, and I guess maybe we could talk about making him disappear right now, and then we'll talk about the other stuff in another video. So let's go ahead and hit stop, and you can see this gold ore here, right? If we click on it, if we look at these properties, you'll see one of the properties is transparency. Okay. And transparency, if you remember from the simple obby, if it's 0, that means there is no transparency. If it's 1, that means it's fully transparent. Okay, so one way that we can make him disappear is you can set the transparency equal to 0. And if you haven't noticed, these scripts are ways that you can code any of these properties, right? We can make the gold ore grow bigger by changing its size. We can change its location by setting the position to different values. We can set its color to a different color by setting its brick color to a different color, right? And what we're going to do now is we're going to set the transparency equal to 1, so it looks like the player collected that piece of gold. All right, so let's go into that script, and in addition to doing this, we're also going to say gold.transparency is equal to 1. And let's test that, and we'll stop there if it works. Okay, so let's come on over here. All right, there we go. And so there's a couple more things we need to do, but let's stop there, and we'll save that for the next video.